Your team knows who owns the work. That does not mean they know who owns the decision. That gap is where roadmaps go to die. I've run engineering organizations with over 200 engineers, and I personally created the exact bottleneck I'm about to show you how to fix. Twice. Here's what I missed both times. Priya did everything right. DRIs assigned, intake locked, escalation triggers are in place, the system looked clean, and the roadmap was still dragging. Not loud, not chaotic, just slow. The team was working. They were communicating, escalating less, and decisions were still slowing down. Ownership without decision rights is not empowerment, it's accountability with handcuffs. The engineer owns the feature, but not the technical trade-off. The PM owns the roadmap item, but not the priority call. The tech lead owns delivery, but not scope negotiation. That's not empowerment. That's a permission system, but with better labels. And the people carrying the accountability, they figured that out before you did. Failure mode 1. Ownership without authority. Priya sees owners everywhere. Every project has a DRI. Every ticket has a name. It looks clean. But when a real decision appears, the owner freezes because they can't change scope, can't negotiate priority, can't reject stakeholder pressure, can't choose between speed and quality without approval. So they wait. And waiting is the hidden tax on every roadmap item. Failure mode 2. Domain collision. This is where Priya's team starts stepping on each other. Engineering thinks it owns the technical call. Product thinks it owns the roadmap impact. Customer success thinks it owns the client commitment. Leadership thinks it owns anything that could become politically sensitive. Everyone has a legitimate interest. Nobody has a clean boundary. So every decision just becomes a group negotiation. Group negotiation feels collaborative. It's usually just decision avoidance dressed up as alignment. And the roadmap pays for every hour of it. Who owns technical architecture? Who owns scope trade-offs? Who owns delivery date changes? Who owns customer-facing commitments? Who owns priority conflicts? Who owns risk acceptance? Until those domains are defined, your team will keep mistaking discussion for progress. Failure mode 3. Invisible lines. A team member may be allowed to make small decisions, but not larger ones, and that's normal. The problem is when nobody knows where the line is. Can the owner change the implementation approach? Cut a low-value feature? Move work out of a sprint? Push back on a stakeholder? Accept a 1-week delay? Make a technical compromise? If the answer to all of those is, it depends, you don't have decision rights, you have leader dependency. And leader dependency means your calendar fills up with decisions that your team should be making without you. Until the roadmap slows back down and you can't figure out why. Priya had named owners. What she hadn't done was draw the lines. 5 categories. That's the map. Here's how it works. Now, this is not a RACI chart. RACI tells you who's responsible. This tells you who can move. Category 1, independent decisions. These are decisions the owner makes without asking anyone. Choosing implementation sequence. Adjusting internal task assignments. Resolving minor technical trade-offs. Managing normal sprint level execution. The rule is simple. If the decision stays inside the agreed scope, risk, timeline, and domain, the owner decides. No check-in required. Now there's category 2, consulted decisions. These are decisions the owner still owns, but they need input before making the call. A technical choice that affects another team. Product decision that changes user experience. A timeline trade-off that affects downstream work. Here's the distinction that matters. Consultation is not permission. The owner gathers input, weighs trade-offs, and then they make the decision. They do not turn every consulted decision into a committee vote. Input in, decision still theirs. Category 3, shared decisions. This is the one that trips everyone up. 2 domains, both legitimate. Scope versus deadline. Customer commitment versus technical risk. Here's the rule Priya had to learn. You can share the input. You cannot share the accountability. Name a tiebreaker or the decision stalls every time. Category 4, escalated decisions. And here's what most leaders get wrong. Escalation isn't a system failure. It's supposed to be in the map. The problem was never that people escalated. The problem was that nobody knew the threshold. But now they do. Major delivery impact, significant budget change, material customer risk, strategic priority conflict, cross-functional disagreement that blocks execution. Those escalate. Everything else doesn't have to. Category 5, leadership reserved decisions, strategy changes, headcount commitments, major budget calls, executive level customer trade-offs, company level priority shifts. There is nothing wrong with leaders making some decisions. The mistake is pretending the team owns decisions that leadership has quietly reserved. Pretending that is worse than no empowerment. It teaches them the system's theater. If you're keeping the decision, just say it out loud. Put it in the map. That's not a weakness. That's how trust works. Priya stopped asking, why won't they make decisions? She started asking, have I made the boundary clear enough for them to move? That's the only question that matters. And if your roadmap is dragging right now, the honest answer, probably no. Her team wasn't afraid to make a decision. They were afraid of crossing invisible lines. She then drew the lines and the team started moving. Here's how to build yours. Step 1. Pick one active roadmap item, not your whole system. One project where decisions are slowing down. Step 2. List the recurring decisions, not tasks, decisions. Can we reduce scope? Can we change technical approach? Can we push back on a stakeholder? Can we accept technical debt? List those out. Step 3. Assign each decision to a domain. Product, engineering, architecture, delivery, customer leadership, security, compliance, operations. Step 4. Define the authority level. For each decision, does the owner decide? Does the owner decide after consultation? Is it shared with a named tiebreaker? Does it escalate if a threshold is crossed? Or is it leadership reserved? Step 5. Publish it where work happens. Not in a buried doc that nobody reads. Put it in the project kickoff. Put it in the roadmap review. Put it in the sprint planning notes. Right next to the escalation trigger map. This map has to live close to the work. Otherwise, it's just another artifact people pretend to care about. I built a one-page version of this map. The link is in the description. Print it. Put it in your next kickoff. One project, 5 steps. Draw the lines. Watch what happens. Priya's team, they didn't need more ownership language. They needed decision boundaries. Because when people know what they own, but not what they can decide, they don't move faster. They just carry accountability without authority. And that is how leaders accidentally rebuild the exact bottleneck that they were trying to remove. If your roadmap is dragging and your team has owners but no movement, this is why. Subscribe, because in the next video, I'm going to show you exactly how to wire this into sprint planning, roadmap reviews, and one-on-ones so the system runs without you. Frameworks don't change behavior. Systems do. That's next. See you there.